Are you struggling to lose weight and keep it off? Tired of wasting time and money on starvation diets that lead to more frustration and stress? If there was a weight loss solution that could actually work for you, would you try it? Then head to Golo.com.
I'm Steve. I lost 138 pounds in 9 months on Golo.
I'm Amber. I've lost 128 pounds with Golo.
If you're ready to take back control of your life, head to Golo.com now and see how Golo can work for you. That's Golo.com.
My sleep is way better. My inflammation has gone way down. Golo saved my life. I was way overweight. That's what sent me down the path. I wanted to make sure and live for my kid.
I have literally tried everything. I was on the verge of getting gastric bypass surgery, and I saw the Golo commercial, and it was the last thing I tried because it worked.
Join over 2 million people who found a better way to lose weight with Golo. Your healthier and happier life begins at Golo.com. That's Golo.com. Again, Golo.com.
Boobies! Boobies!
Hello and welcome.
Hello, hi. How are you?
Great, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a day. Had a flat tire before coming here.
On your brand new car?
I know, right?
How?
There was a
Construction.
nail, literally, and that's what the people who were fixing it, they were like, we've been getting it a lot here lately with all that
Yeah.
construction going on. So yeah.
It was like free, right? Was it covered?
Um,
Did they patch it?
Oh yeah. Like yeah.
I was like, I would be pissed if I just bought a car and then I got a flat tire and they were like, ooh, buy a new wheel or a tire.
No, yeah. Thankfully, I didn't have to. I think it was just patchable. But yeah, that was like after a long day of work. It was like, oh, okay, yay. That throws everything off a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's okay. We're here.
We're
We made
here
it.
and we're
good.
alive. And well, my name is Caitlin.
And I'm Joshua.
That's right. And this is a podcast not about tires, but about
Horror movies.
horror movies. That was a horror of real life.
It
Now
was.
we are in the cinematic
Mm,
universe of horror.
that could be turned into a horror movie somehow.
Yeah, flat tire.
Flat tire, side of the road. There's lots of possibilities.
Oh, that's like 18 horror
It's
movies
horror
already.
movies, or like going to a tire shop, but like deadly murderous tire shop.
Oh yeah, and the tires come to life and
Yeah.
eat you.
Like Bates Motel, but like tire shop.
Oh, okay, so like a person. I'm thinking like the
monster
tires.
movie.
Yeah,
See,
come to
there's
life.
so many different like avenues that you can take with it.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood, where are you at again? Let's start this timer.
K90D is out.
Welcome though to
Boobies.
Boobies. That's right,
Your
horror movie spectacular.
showdown where we get to talk to you about our favorite and maybe not so favorite horror movies.
Today we are talking about one of my favorites.
Yeah,
Yeah,
up
absolutely.
there. I mean, it's great.
Absolutely fucking love this movie.
It's pretty good. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about Get Out.
That's right. We thought for the month of
Since
February.
Black History Month, we would
Yeah.
be covering some black cinema, or just movies filmed by people,
black producers.
black producers. Just
Bunch of, and so, and of course, highlight them throughout the
of
year
course.
as well. But
yes,
definitely take the time to make a special note
yeah, exactly.
this month. So yeah, Get Out, directed by
ooh,
ahead.
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele.
I love how
Yeah.
he's what said that at the same time.
You're ready, Jordan. Like,
Mhm,
oh
mhm.
man, ever since he stepped into this world of producing, he has just been phenomenal. And I will admit, like, whenever I heard originally that he
Yeah.
was going to be directing this, I
Yeah.
was like, what? You mean like Key and Peele? Like that Jordan Peele?
Yeah,
And then I researched him a little bit more and was like, oh, okay, he's like actually, I mean, he's a huge horror fanatic. And so it was,
he is. Yeah.
yeah.
And I think also too because I mean, in you're not far off. I also had the same thought because it's like I mean, we know him for doing comedy,
Mhm.
and so but then like as
this movie is a perfect mesh of comedy,
Yeah.
but then also,
it does, which
horror.
most horror movies do try to like and like weave in some kind of comedy or something to kind of because you have to have tension. You can't have
Yeah.
it be like the whole at 100 the whole entire time.
mhm.
But I feel like because of his perspective in comedy as well, like he comes at it with like this whole other perspective of like being able to like really tell a story that is like truthfully like horrifying, but like in a way that's like not like it's someone like really like a slasher or like this or that. It's like it's very meta,
It's unsettling.
mental horror. What is it called? Remember we just talked about it in Scream, the new Scream, and what's it called?
Like a new
like more just horror, elevated horror. Yeah,
elevated horror.
Exactly.
It's like I was reading some of the what the fuck is it called? What's that tomato place? Rotten Tomato. I was reading some of the Rotten Tomato.
Yeah.
It is classified as a horror comedy.
Okay.
And it got 98% for the tomato meter. So that's pretty fucking high.
He's like literally almost 100%.
86% is the audience score. But like all of this critics' consensus, it starts with funny, scary, and thought-provoking. And I don't know, like the comedy is there, but I don't
see why they would lead with funny, but I think it's because obviously he was in comedy before. Maybe that's why they do that. And I'm sure it's kind of like,
because the comedy was like, there were some parts where, yes, this is hilarious, but it's so like subtly woven in that I am not.
Where you just said
fixated
thought
on it.
provoking, I'm like, that should be the first.
Yes.
Like, should be the opener because that's literally what it is.
There's so much.
And also, it's like not
symbolism.
That's what I wanted to point on is that like it's not even necessarily funny in the way like they're cracking jokes necessarily. It's just also like it's irony and comedic because like it's the way that this talks and touches a lot of like social-ish topics and like kind of things that are a little bit more like taboo, like racism and all that kind of stuff. And so it's just kind of like it almost even like as we see like the white people throughout this movie, like they're laughable because it's like so real.
Yes.
Like it's not, you know what I mean? Like in a sad but like funny way. Like
you're watching it and you're like, oh, this one never happened. Then you think and you're like, oh, that does happen.
Literally people like
and
this.
And it has literally happened for years. I do think I liked this review. It just says very clever, brilliantly written and wonderfully uncomfortable neo-horror movie, challenging racial stereotypes and viewer expectations with almost every scene. This is a audience review. It's just someone named Jen S., super reviewer. But I thought that was a really well-worded review. But anyways, we're not here to focus on tomatoes.
Yeah, we're here to focus on booze.
That's right. We are.
Booze and booze.
Booze and booze.
Oh.
Also, did you know that there's something called Feast of the Ass? And it's like it's a Christian holiday. Happens on January 14th.
What's like a donkey? Right? I'm assuming that's what you mean, an ass.
Yes, it is. And it's something about primarily in France is a byproduct of the Feast of the Fools, celebrating the donkey-related stories in the Bible.
Oh.
But yeah, they called it Feast of the Ass. And I was like, wow, y'all couldn't have chose any other name for
really?
that?
I mean, come on now. Someone knew at some point what they were doing with it.
Sorry, that was like
Side
the
note.
last thing I had searched.
That's what everybody, I'm not even, you know why?
I was trying to see how much a donkey weighed.
Oh,
Actually, I was trying to
Related
see how much
searches.
a blue whale weighed.
Yeah.
And then I was
like
like, how much does a
spiral.
horse weigh? And then I was like, what about a donkey? They
Wow.
range from 180 to 1,100 pounds.
That's
Quite a difference.
Huge like window of weight.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyways.
We gotta circle back because we will do this all night. Yeah. So, okay.
out.
I'm
It
glad that we
starts.
already know where the rating of these booze are gonna go from the get go. All right, guys, let's go home. 4 booze. JK. Yeah. So we basically start off with meeting our. Is it a protagonist? Yeah, it's a protagonist. Yeah. Our main
he's
character.
He's not. We start with Dre, lost in the suburbs.
Oh yeah, that's
And,
right.
Um,
And he's on the phone, and he's
with his girlfriend.
Mhm.
He keeps saying babe and stuff. And he's like saying like, I feel like I stick out like a sore thumb here. Like, you know, and he's already said something like, you know, I already know what they do to people like me out here. And
It's already making you suspicious. So like,
yeah,
what's
too
going on?
affluent. Like
Because
this
then that
is
car just shows up and is like parking in front of him or behind.
it's tailing him like
Yeah.
very slowly creeping
Yeah.
along and then playing the like almost 30s like tiptoe through the tulips vibe kind of music.
Mhm.
I don't know exactly what
I don't know
song
what it was either, but I get what you mean on that vibe.
And as we find out at the end when Homeboy pulls off in that same white car, that was Jeremy
Mm-hmm.
trailing him. So Jeremy is the brother.
Yeah.
I had never put that together because I'm a dumbass
I didn't
until watching
either.
it this time, and then
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, that's fucking Jeremy." I'm so dumb.
I had only seen it one time.
There
before
was
this
so
time,
much that I saw it twice. I saw this movie twice in theaters.
Okay.
I loved it.
Mhm.
And then I watched it on Sunday
Okay.
with Nance
Yeah.
and Maria, and then happy birthday, Maria.
Happy
Maria's
birthday, Maria! Shout
Yay.
out.
And then it's also my best friend Malin's birthday.
Happy birthday, Malin.
Yesterday was my brother's birthday.
If I had a button I could have pushed, I'd push it right now. You rock. Happy birthday.
You rock.
There we go.
But even like, so watching it just on Sunday
Mhm.
and then watching it again this morning,
Gotcha.
I was like, there's so much I missed.
It's
On
there's-
Sunday.
There's so much,
And this is like my at least 5th or 6th time seeing it.
yeah. Well, and don't you love a movie? And that's a good movie, I believe, too. Where if you can keep watching it, you pick up on something that you didn't even
There
like.
were there
see
were
before.
4 things that I picked up on this time that I was like,
Mhm.
I've never fucking noticed that. Like
It's
there's so
the
many
s-
parts
like-
of my notes where I just go, oh,
It just makes things make more sense. It's like, oh wow, like they really were intricate and thought about
so intricate.
what they were doing. Yeah.
Very, very well planned out. And then I was wondering if somehow Candyman now has some relation to this same universe
Mm.
because like they both happen in New York and they're
Yeah.
both, I would not put it above him to have made it so thorough to where they can connect. Because
Yeah.
then Candyman, he was also
Maybe.
a photographer, right?
And everything.
And Chris is a photographer.
And everything nowadays too has to belong to like some sort of universe or like
Yeah.
they blame Marvel or metaverse, but like it's just it's profitable and it's just like it's just creativity, it's like being able to create like world building almost,
Mhm.
yeah. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it is.
But I didn't catch that and I didn't think about that. Was there a certain point that like made you think about that, or just because he produced Candyman as well? Or
Oh yeah, just because he produced it,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I was thinking, like I was sitting there when I was rewatching it, I was like, oh, well, he's a photographer, and they're
Mhm,
in New York as
mhm.
well, and kind of same
you
vibe.
could
and
see
like,
them meshing. Yeah,
yeah.
you could very
like,
easily
one.
happening in the same world
Mhm.
universe.
So I don't know if it does, but I just think that would be cool,
Mhm.
and I do think Jordan Peele has enough foresight to have planned for that in this
Mhm.
movie, even.
Or at least I probably like if he doesn't do it, he was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna leave that option available just in case I want to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
it'd be a nice, smart, easy route.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we're basically following Dre. He gets kidnapped
Yeah,
and
abducted
in plain sight.
snatched.
It is dark, mind you, but it's in an affluent suburb, and you know that the white motherfuckers
Is
are
w-
nosy as hell.
and they're
all
watching
Of them, all of them are at their
at
little
the
blinds,
blinds,
peeking
literally,
through,
probably
and they're like, "Ooh,
talking
can we
about
buy
it.
him next?"
talking about it to each other like
Did
from
you
across
see what just happened across the
on the
street?
landlines,
Yeah,
literally. 'Cause
they're in their little aprons.
I could literally still see them having landlines.
Yeah. Oh yes, 100%. But then it flashes, and the opening music here of that like plucking strings, that like
It was so good
phenomenal,
throughout the whole movie. The choice
score is
of
beautiful.
and even the placement of where everything's at as well. It's
Because
just
some
like,
of them really did scare the fuck out of me. There was
Yeah.
one part where I jumped because of the score
yeah,
and also the scene that happened. But I was like, fuck.
I love when
And I just watched this 2 days ago.
I love when the music and like the score that follows the movie like tells a story within is like telling the story as well.
It is.
Along with the movie,
Yeah.
as opposed to just like songs or stuff being like dropped into like transition or something,
Mm-hmm.
like this was like really scored well.
This was incredibly well. And so we get that's how we get our title card, and then it transitions to that whispering that
Mhm.
I don't know what language that is.
Um,
It's like Zapatita.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I have no clue, but that's what it sounds like. Anyways, and we get the flashing of the title card there, and it just says "Get Out"
Get
as we're
out.
panning past a nice forest passing by as we're in a car.
Mhm.
And then it just seamlessly goes into Gambino,
Yeah,
and that's like, damn, okay,
some Redbound.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so that was nice.
yeah. I mean, once again, tying into the music and all
I'm
that.
saying, it's
Yeah,
telling you,
and it's
stay
current,
woke.
and it's current as well.
And these people ain't woke.
Yeah, no, not at all. No, a little too woke. A little,
Yeah,
over.
they're very radical. And-
literally.
Yeah. But yeah, so I love it. You get to see some of Chris's photography. It's kind of setting the mood that
Mhm.
he is a photographer.
Yeah.
We're seeing the dynamic of him getting ready while Rose is pastry shopping with her psychotic face.
Oh God.
It was so fun watching this with
She's so
Nancy and
crazy.
Maria because Maria had never seen it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And so at first she was like going along, but then I think she picked up on Nancy and I going like every time she'd say something about the girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think she was like,
Okay.
oh, yeah.
It's gonna be her. When I first watched it,
I was,
I think I was. It was a twist for me.
it was
Yeah.
a twist for me
Yeah.
too.
I don't think I was suspecting her.
Looking back at it now, I can see, and I have to applaud
Yeah.
Allison Williams.
Yes, that's her.
Her acting throughout some of this is like so good because you can see it looks like almost like she's doing a poor job of acting,
Mm-hmm.
but it's because like
Mm.
how that person would be.
Yeah.
So it's like she's faking it in some scenes and you can tell.
Like
But
she's
you're
trying
supposed to
really
tell.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And so-
because then in the end, it's kind of like it's giving you enough to
She's
like.
playing a person who's acting.
Yeah.
She's acting out a person who
who's
is acting.
faking to be something like
Yes.
not someone else. She's still herself, but like yes, a different personality, or like yeah,
Mhm.
not revealing her true intentions of what she's planning to do with Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She really did. She did a phenomenal job. And
Yeah.
so did Chris. And
Mhm.
honestly, fucking the guy who played her brother, Caleb
Caleb.
Landry Jones.
Yeah.
That motherfucker has to be one of the best actors I think I've ever seen.
Really?
He was so fucking disturbing.
I can see that.
That
yeah.
dinner scene where you first meet him
Mm-hmm.
is like next level. It's like
Well-
this motherfucker would skin me alive. I could feel it.
That's true.
He was creepy.
It is
there.
pretty good acting whenever you like hate a character
Yeah.
because they make you like believe that person is real so much that you're just like, man, I hate this person.
He did like I mean I was like this week I probably woke up and says the same shit every day. Like
Mhm.
he was good. I was like, damn, why has he not been in more?
I've-
Maybe that's his best performance.
Maybe that was peak Caleb.
Mm.
Being a racist. Wow.
Yeah.
Was he playing a character? No, I'm just kidding. Oh, I'm just kidding.
himself.
No, yeah. So we have. So we were not even. Yeah. So getting back to. Yeah, they're getting ready, and they're planning to go on a trip to go visit her parents for the weekend.
Mhm.
And it's the way that essentially, without kind of beating around the bush, but then having to actually say it out loud, he's like, "Do they know that
Do
I'm
they know
black?"
we're black, yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, "No." But it's the way
Should
should they, right? Like,
Mhm.
and then like you watch that at that like first time, you're like, okay, but now watching it back, it's like you can tell like the like
Mhm.
almost in her tone too, like she's enjoying faking him
Mhm.
out, you
She
know,
is.
like
yeah,
literally.
No, she is
Yeah.
fucking sick.
Yeah,
she is
she's
twisted.
demented.
And it's like it's so sad because like right as she gets there too, like he opens the door and gives her like the best kiss.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, damn, you know, like this guy actually fucking loves her.
Yeah,
And then, and she's playing him like that well. And it just, makes me sick. I don't know. And he also makes a comment. He's like, well, I just don't want to be chased off the lawn with a shotgun. And,
well,
that's some
and then,
foreshadowing
yeah,
right here.
literally, yeah. There's a lot of foreshadowing,
because he's getting chased off.
and then even when she says, "My dad would have voted for Obama a third time," and it's the way that
So he's
that,
not racist.
and that comes up later again, almost
Mhm.
like a rehearsed script
Uh-huh.
later on, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So also foreshadowing there.
And I'm sorry, just because you decided to vote for Obama doesn't make you not racist.
Yeah. it
Like, that's
doesn't.
literally not how it
It's
works.
the conversation. It's like the same as along like, well, like my friends are black. Like what? Like that doesn't, okay.
That doesn't make-
my neighbor. Like, okay, well,
Yeah.
boom. Okay.
Anyways.
Yeah. So they're getting ready. You can already tell he's like unnerved about like he's feeling like I
He's
don't know
going to
about
a
this.
whole ass house full of white people.
Literally. Yeah.
I'd be nervous too.
Yeah.
And I'm white.
Most definitely. I mean, I know that feeling
Mm.
of being around a group of people that you feel like you're maybe not that welcomed by.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
It's unsettling.
it is. You don't feel safe.
Yeah.
And it's not nice to not feel safe.
Mhm.
You kind of feel like you always have to like look over your shoulder, just being anxious about like you're defensive. So there's no sense of like having any type of like real
Enjoyment or
and-
relaxation.
yeah, for sure.
That's not a vacation.
Yeah.
But then in comes Rod.
Mhm.
Yay. He is our comedic relief, but
He
also our badass. We love him.
Yes, we love Rod, played by Lil Rel Howery. But yes, definitely gives that
He says the line, he was like, tell me why I can't pat down an old woman. He goes, I'm telling you, the next 9/11 is going to be on some geriatric shit. I was
Literally.
like, oh my God.
Yeah, and it's the way that the way that his comedy gets woven in. It's like it's just perfect. It's just what's needed to like kind of
Because it's
keep you-
realistic. It seems like I
exactly.
could,
Yeah,
that does
it's
sound
like,
like,
banter, like almost
Yeah.
with a friend, you know.
and
Yeah,
it's not like, wait for the like
the
laugh track.
punchline
Yeah.
or the drum roll. Yeah,
And it basically, Rod is already being like, why are you going to a house full of like white people? He's like, I know some shit is up. And he says, like, what is she doing? Licking your balls or something?
Mhm.
And then I think he hangs up at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyways, then it cuts to them driving. And I will say I do
On the way.
like, especially at the beginning, there's some almost very just like harsh cuts that happen.
Mhm.
And I love it because it makes me more unsettled.
Got ya.
Like it just feels very like
Abrupt.
Oh fuck, like we're here now.
Yeah,
And almost like when
like an
when I
anxiety.
disassociate.
Yeah.
and I
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
come
And then you come
to.
to, and you're like, oh
Mhm.
shit. Mm.
That's what it felt like.
Me
And
when
so
I'm
it was
driving.
like very like ugh for
Yeah.
me. I loved it. And yeah, so they're having, some banter in the car. She's talking like he tries to smoke. We find out she
Mhm.
doesn't like smoking. Blah blah blah. And then this fucking deer looks like it was thrown
Yeah,
out in front of the
literally.
fucking car. It was like it hit like the windshield.
It did, and it's the way I'm like, because when they go and look at it, I'm like, I feel like it should have like,
It should have been laying the opposite direction.
and it should have been like embedded into the fucking window, like the way it hit them. I guess I don't know. I've never
Yeah.
been hit by a deer, so I
Thank
don't know how
God.
that works. Yeah, knock on wood.
Chris, and then so he goes. They hit this deer. It's
Mhm.
messed up their front, like the headlight and the side mirror.
Yeah.
And he goes, and we get this scene where he goes to investigate. And I put this 2 and 2 together for like this morning. This is one of the ones where I was like, oh, I'm so
Tell
fucking
me.
dumb. So like I was like, Chris staring at the deer scene it's so good because it gives creepy vibes, and then it's got that immediate cut to the police scene. But this is hinting at his trauma and how he needs to go
Yes.
back because his mom was a hit and run. And then the deer is a constant symbol
Mm-hmm.
throughout the house. And the
That he's always
like
having to look at.
fathers,
Mm-hmm.
there's a mention later with the father that I'll bring up. But
Mm-hmm.
so not only was he satisfying his past almost a little bit by going back to check on this deer and make sure that,
Yeah.
they ended up calling the police instead of animal control, but not just leaving it
Because that's
as
what,
so many people would.
yeah.
hmm And,
And
because
as we see in another instance later in the movie as well, when he
Georgina.
is faced with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so his mother, essentially, as we find out, was killed in a hit and run.
Mm-hmm.
And he was 11. He's a fucking child. And he feels immense guilt because he didn't call.
Yeah.
Because, again, he's
He
fucking
was like
11.
panicked and
he's
frozen
panicking.
in panic.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And so, I mean, it's totally valid. But, God, the way that this family, like,
Preys
fucking-
on that?
It's
Mhm.
sick. But anyways, then we get flashed to the police scene where the police officer is there saying, like, okay, in the future, you need to call animal control.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, you wanna go?
No, you
No?
go.
Okay. I was like, I didn't know. I feel like I'm talking a lot.
No, you fine.
But basically, this motherfucking cop's racist, and it's
Yeah.
just it's a nice narrative on not was this police officer brutal, but like police brutality and the unfair and just racially profiling
Mm-hmm.
people. Because Rose was the one driving. They hit a deer. It's not like they hit someone else. But then he asks to see Chris's ID,
Yeah.
even though he wasn't driving.
There was like nothing suspicious, and there was nothing to be like
Yeah.
interrogating them about, or yeah, especially also in the tone that is like a delivery in the way that he's talking to them.
And
he's being
whenever
an
Rose
asshole.
goes like, no, he wasn't driving. And he's like, we have the right to check. And
Yeah.
it's like, why the fuck do you need to? It's a fucking deer.
Yeah.
They hit a fucking deer. And you're literally just doing
The
this
deer hit
because
them.
he's black. Yeah, the deer hit them.
Literally.
God, go question get the deer's ID. God.
Get that tag. But yeah, no, and it's the way that she then has her little moment where she's like defending him, you know, and whatever, and then finally the cop like leaves them. But it's the way that like then he's all, you know, really happy that she protected him. And
Yeah, he was like, that's hot.
yeah. And literally by the end of it, you're like, oh man, buddy.
Yeah,
The way she literally just used him and played him.
she sure did.
But yeah, it was.
The cut from this after to them pulling up to the house was the one that made me be like, I honestly almost love the harsh, I love the almost harsh cuts in between scenes. I said it feels like it adds
I'm
to the
sure that was
overall
intentional.
easy film. Yeah, feeling of the film. But yeah, so then they pull up to the house, and immediately we see that basically they have like all black help, and the house strongly resembles a plantation house.
Very, and literally how.
It had like 4 rocking chairs on the porch and a goddamn Cracker Barrel.
Literally, as soon as he's pulling in and he sees like a black man working, like raking, I think is what he was doing out there. Yeah, I'm like,
oh, I would have been like,
sus. Like, what?
We're just gonna keep driving through the circular driveway and pull right the fuck back out.
And it's the way like she says, what? That's our groundskeeper, right, or something like that. Yeah. I'm like, one, they need a groundskeeper. Like what?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways.
Also, typically that's a team of people, like who do landscaping and stuff.
Anyways,
it's whatever. But so they get inside, they meet, and they're being all chummy and stuff like that. And this is where the dad comes in because they say, "Oh, we hit a deer," and she said it fruck us out. And then they were like going fricking, blah blah blah. But the dad goes, honestly, good. I say good because he says. Basically, one down, a couple million to go. He says that these deers are taking over, and so as I see
it's another innuendo for
it's an analogy for, and this commentary on killing deers is what I imagine is his thoughts on black people. Yeah, basically saying that they're expendable and good, like
another one down. Like basically.
And that's what there's that big at the end. We've got that giant deer
and how he gets killed by the stag.
And how he gets killed by it. I thought was very. Smart.
I didn't even think about that, to be honest.
I didn't put that together until this morning either. And I was like, literally, I was having maybe I just need to watch more things at 5 a.m. I don't know.
Maybe. It's good. Your brain was flowing. It was activated. It was like,
let's go. After not sleeping a lot. Maybe I'm imagining all this.
No, I feel that. I didn't even think about that, but that makes a whole lot of sense how that ties back in together, him getting killed by that.
I
it's
thought
just
that was
like
a nice
another layer because there's so many layers already there. So that's
because I had honestly I had never noticed that line before. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that I can like point that out and remember that, but I know what you mean.
I picked it up this morning and I was like, oh, I've never noticed that line, but okay. So then they're going on a tour of the house, basically, and the father has another line that says it's such a privilege to be able to experience someone else's culture. And I was like, oh, so you just mean how you are literally cultural appropriating.
The whole time that gives us suspicious and like just creep vibes. Like the whole, at least for the family, when I was first watching this. Now when you know everything, but it's like it's the way that like I didn't think she was a part of it, but I'm like they're gonna do something. Like there's something not right here because you can already tell from the get-go like their questions, the way they word things, like it's very like pointed.
They're unswerving eye contact. It's just like bearing into his soul, and quite literally. But yeah, so I mean that's such a huge thing too. Like black culture is so often watered down and appropriated by other people.
Oh yeah.
And I mean literally so many trends that we have today can be
you can find the roots traced back to black culture.
Like literally the entire streetwear trend.
Yeah.
All of that. And then just
it's everything. It's music, it's dance, it
is like so woven into and
literature, like everything.
Everything, yeah. It just gets watered down and taken as something. And I mean, I know that I like am guilty of this too. Like I'm sure.
Yeah, it's the way that it's systemic.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that gets brought up a lot, but it's just because that's the way it is. Like, I mean, and that in itself is what we're talking about is that's the way it is, you know, like there's no way to get around that is like we have been indoctrinated into just letting things be passable and permissible because of what has happened before.
Exactly.
And it can only get better, but there's still a long way to go.
Yes.
For sure.
Long way.
Yeah.
And then there's the other part that I didn't notice was he was going around and showing him pictures on the wall, he points out his father and how he was a track star.
Yeah. And that comes out in just a little bit.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I
yeah.
didn't notice
put those
that at
together.
all because I guess I was just, I don't know what my brain was doing all the other
Yeah.
times. I was just checked out, I guess.
He was fast.
And how the only person who beat him was a black guy.
Literally. Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, ugh. And he says he almost got over it,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't.
Yep. And
Because
that
then
all.
he got himself up.
And it's
black
those little
body.
things that keep popping up throughout the movie where you're just like, oh, okay, something's gonna go wrong. I already see it.
Yep.
Yeah, you're fearing for Chris already at this point. Like, please,
Mhm.
like, get out. Because I mean, the title of the movie, we already know like something's gonna happen. Like, what's gonna
Yeah,
happen?
yeah.
Like when we're like, just get out, please, just get out,
Please get out.
get out. Yeah. So they're showing him. He's showing him the house and all that.
He runs. They go into the kitchen, and he says, "My mother loved the kitchen, so I always keep a piece of her in here."
And literally Georgina is right there.
And we meet Georgina.
And it's the
Yeah.
way that already he's like, okay, well, one, you had a black groundskeeper outside, but now we have
A black
black
maid?
maid. Like, and that's even like this is taking it to a whole nother level. You mean you
Mm-hmm.
have black people serving y'all? Like as if like you know what I mean?
Like this is the fucking
it's just, I don't know
whatever year
whenever
the
that
Civil
was
War
happening,
happened
literally,
and
yeah.
slavery did. Yeah. So it's pretty.
It's very plantation, as you said earlier.
Yeah. And Chris doesn't bring it up. The dad does. He's like,
Yeah.
he says something about how I know what it looks like, blah, blah. And Chris was like, I wasn't going to take it there, but you're right.
yeah.
It does look like
It
that.
really does, because it is.
And that's where we get the
In
dad
ess-
delivering
essence.
the Obama line again.
Yeah,
Mhm.
in essence, yeah. Oh man, that's just like cringe.
It is. It's so, ugh. But then it cuts to the little patio scene where they're sitting there drinking tea,
Yes.
and already they're sitting there prying into his fucking personal life. And of course, he's like starts knocking the table because he's uncomfortable. So get
Yeah,
out.
literally, he's having
all
withdrawals
get
because he
out.
wants to like have a smoke to just like deal with the stress of like being in an uncomfortable station, and he
In
knows
a
he
new
can't.
place, surrounded by people that
I mean,
he doesn't feel safe
and also
around.
one just meeting
Someone's parents.
someone's parents.
Yeah.
That's nervous enough on its own. Like
It
you know,
is.
throwing everything else and all the other factors into in
Mhm.
there. Yeah, so he's definitely not comfortable. They're asking really like prying questions.
Super
like,
crying, and
yeah.
then being like, because she says something about like, why didn't you do anything, blah blah. Blah.
Yeah.
And it's like, a bitch, like,
Could we just have left it? I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Yeah.
More tea. Here we go.
Yeah.
More whatever.
and even then we get the little spoon click
Where she's
too.
clicking on the
Yeah,
on
so
the teacup.
they're already like just they're prying into his personal life, and then she's already like setting those like tones to
Uh-huh.
hypnotize him and make him more susceptible.
Yes.
And then that's when they bring up
The cigarettes.
yeah,
Mhm.
that she can help him quit.
With the little hypnosis, and he's just like, definitely not gonna do that.
Yeah.
I mean, no,
That sounds
I'll pass.
weird as fuck.
I'll pass. Which yeah, I mean, I don't know. Would you ever get hypnotized?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
would.
feel like I would try it just to like see
Just
if
see
like
if it
it's even
worked.
possible. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then, do you even recollect of yourself being hypnotized? I don't think so, right?
I don't know. What
'Cause
if
you,
what
does that
if
even
I'm
feel like?
hypnotized right now?
Your whole life you've been hypnotized. This is not even like the Caitlyn that people know. Oh my god, you have an evil twin that like the real Caitlyn is like in a
People
basement
do
somewhere.
tell me that they see me like everywhere, and I'm like, I was not there. I guess I just have one of those faces.
It's a doppelganger,
I don't know. I do have
a beautiful face.
a doppelganger. Oh, thanks.
Mhm. But yeah, there she's saying that she could help him get over that with some hypnosis. He's not down for it. And then is that when
Oh, with her Georgina pouring
Georgina?
the tea.
Yes, yeah, and she's having like a moment where you can, and I think
She's slipping.
She's slipping, yeah,
Mhm.
because Georgina, would that be even Georgina's name, or is that grandma's name?
I
don't
think
know.
that's
Grandma's name, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
then the actual person who's in there, you can tell is like trying to like gain control back of
Mhm.
their body,
Yeah.
physically.
And she seems to be a rather strong individual
Mhm.
because multiple times do we see Georgina slipping in
Mhm.
between.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I wonder if like the grandmother
Mhm.
was closer to death and had some sort of
Yeah.
memory issues and stuff, and so her mind was
It's,
like
not strong enough.
not
or,
as strong. Yeah. And then she's got, I mean, you've got this strong young like this young
Mhm.
strong-willed individual
woman, yeah, person.
inside of you too. I imagine that there could
That
be
in
some
itself
sort of
is just
fight.
even the concept when we get to that part is just like what? Like
Yeah.
yeah,
It's wild.
that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
It's so smart too. It's like and it's so well, like it's almost like body snatchers, but like not aliens. It's like literally people switching up, taking other people's bodies.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It kind of reminds me, I think, of like if like a demon possession was to have like in
the white demon,
yeah, or like Sabrina,
the white devil.
what's that one called?
Oh, what do you mean?
With Sabrina,
The Teenage Witch?
yeah, but the new one,
The new one? Oh,
Chilling
the
Adventures.
Chilling Adventures of
when
Sabrina. Yeah.
Nick gets possessed by like
is it
the
the
devil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Satan.
there's like I think some slipping that was happening in between there,
Yeah, that's
kind of those vibes. But
I haven't seen that in such
this
a long time.
I think came first, so
It
did.
probably, yeah.
but anyways, so actually I think before that, Rose, you could tell they had brought up the party, and at this scene too, you can tell that Rose is lying about being like, "What? It's this weekend?
Oh yeah,
What do you mean?
yeah. And you're
And
like, how do you?
It's on the same day.
It's on every year. Yeah. How do you forget? Like that's not
Mhm.
something you forget.
And she's
I remember.
like, oh, and then that's when I think Georgina starts slipping because I feel like she's trying to like tell him, get the fuck out of here
This is
before
an
this
auction for your
happens."
life.
Yeah, quite literally.
Literally, yeah,
And then that's when they tell Georgina to go lay down.
yeah.
And
His-
then we get
The mom.
yeah. But then Jeremy walks up, and so now we're basically at the dinner table, and this is where I put Jeremy's such a good actor. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, he's terrifying. The way that he's just delivering all the lines and like, oh, the fucking toenail story collection.
Oh God.
That was gross.
Cringe.
She said
Literally.
she used to bite her toenails off, suck on them, and then keep them.
I believe it.
That
was not a lie.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I can totally believe that, and it's fucking nasty. Oh,
Sorry.
it's such a small snippet, but I'm like, that is gross.
Yeah.
It's
We're
gross.
sorry to our listeners if you do that, but like,
Oh,
I hopefully none of
I
you
hope
do
you
that.
fucking don't, because it's weird.
Yes, your toes are oh, okay. Anyways, all right. Yeah, that is gross though. Oh my
Mhm.
God.
All
biting
the dirt that
toenails.
could
Yeah,
get
that's
under
what
your-
that's what I'm
yeah.
thinking about. Is like,
And then sucking all that. Okay,
Well, I
let's
mean,
stop
there's-
talking about it.
yeah. Okay.
Anyways, just everything that he's saying about like the way that he's talking to him and everything, and he's talking. He asked him if he's like into MMA and stuff. And
Yeah.
He's telling him about his frame and genetic makeup.
He's
You can
making
already-
really disconcerting, like just like comments about like racist remarks. You know,
Yes.
like in essence, you know. Yeah.
And then like you can tell he's already analyzing his body
Mhm.
and what he would be good at
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. And so that's just like And then he
being-
goes to try to like he asked him if he's ever done anything, and he said, "Oh, I did jujitsu."
Mm-hmm.
And I was an orange belt in jujitsu,
You were?
and then I quit.
Oh well, hey, you got. I don't know the levels.
It
but
goes white, yellow, orange.
Oh, hey, you got 3.
Well,
two?
everyone gets white.
Okay,
to
so
start.
you 2.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I mean that's more than I ever got. I've always
So I
wanted to
did
take
that.
like a martial arts class or something, but yeah,
It was fun. I liked it. But yeah,
I'll just pee on myself and scream if anybody ever tries to attack
Oh,
me
okay.
in defense.
I was like, why? But I see.
Nobody wants to touch you after you peed on yourself, and if you're screaming, you're attracting attention.
That's true. And then stab him in the eyeballs.
Literally
Mm-hmm.
with my finger.
Yes. And but then Jeremy gets up and he's trying to fucking
Yeah, like
plate fight.
roughhousing,
Like-
like some like loser, like 8th grader, like
Yeah.
stop, like I can't- you
You're
stop.
an adult. You're going to med school? Like, nah.
Yeah, his character, I hate him.
Mm-hmm.
So cringe. I feel like I'm gonna keep saying that throughout the whole movie.
That you hate him.
Yeah, well, and then the cringe, just so much cringiness, especially
yes.
whenever the
The
party
gaggle of white
oh,
people.
yeah, and everybody coming up to Chris and whatever, saying everything that they say. So after this, remind me, after that they start just going to
Yeah, so they're going to bed,
bed,
and
yeah.
basically she's being like, I can't believe, like, how are they different than that police officer and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But then they just like, he's so sweet to her, and he's like saying like, don't apologize, and because that's not her fault, but it's like, it literally is her
Mhm.
fault. She's
Yeah.
a part of it. She's just as bad as him, arguably worse.
He doesn't even know, and at this point he doesn't even know that she's a part of it. Even if she wasn't a part of it, like what kind of like it's like you're taking someone into like a lion's den, you know, knowing how your family is,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and like to like then be all like, oops, my bad,
Yeah,
whoops,
didn't know that they
daisy,
would
yeah,
be
bitch, like you
fucking
didn't know
racist,
that, okay,
But so then it basically he's in bed and he's not sleeping.
No.
And he keeps recalling the deer. And this was when I was like, oh, the deer was also a callback to his mom.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's so many subtle things that it calls back to. But that's why he's losing sleep over it. So then he gets up to go smoke. And he's going throughout the house. And this is the part where it made me jump, is when he's walking down and Georgina walks past that door frame. And then it's got that quick bing.
Little
I was like, fuck. This morning
sound effects.
I jumped. But it was good. And then we get outside and he's like about to light up his cigarette.
And then the groundskeeper, what's
Grandpa.
Just grandpa. Did we
His
get a
name is Walter.
Walter, that's right. Walter just literally just charging like straight at him, and that's the way that's like, it gives us a moment to be like, wait, is he about to like hit him, tackle him? And then like just goes right past him, obviously. Swerves.
Last second.
Yeah.
And he's like making direct eye contact with him the whole time. And just like, it's not like even a normal, he's got like full sprint. So like his hands are in those little knives and they're like chopping, tap, tap. Like homeboy was running.
And it's the way we never really get
he was
like
the last leg of that. What is it called when you pass off a baton?
Oh, a baton race?
Yeah.
I think
relay.
That's what a relay. Oh, my bad. I don't know. I don't know sports.
I don't know either.
But yeah, that happens, and it's the way like we don't really necessarily get like an explanation. We already know that Grandpa was a track star, kind of thing.
And then
but
he just
like,
says sorry for my exercise last night.
Yeah, but it's like
you.
He was
Why
obviously
running
intentionally trying to scare him, right?
Yeah.
And then like faked him out. Like, I don't know. But yeah, anywho, it's also just one more clue to be like, there's something suspicious going on
like,
here.
cause who the fuck runs in like normal clothes?
Yeah. And that night and like
at night in the dark through the woods,
charging
like,
at someone.
Yeah, that's all weird.
Yeah.
And then so not only did we just get the frame jump from Georgina, then that jump, then he turns around.
Yes.
And Georgina's in the window.
In the window, and just like
admiring her
admiring,
face.
like as if she's like in a mirror. I guess she sees a reflection, right?
Because
she
it's
was
dark outside.
Yeah, so she was looking at the reflection. Okay, got it.
But to him, it just looks like she's like kind of just looking out, but she's not making eye contact with him. And then when it pans inside, you can see that she is looking at her own reflection. But yeah, it was fucking creepy. And then he gets inside.
And then there's Mom waiting in the darkness.
Yeah. Like, why? Why are you fucking waiting in the dark? Like, that's weird as hell.
Yeah.
Then to turn on, like, I was like, this creepy ass bitch. Ugh, I don't know. But then he sits down. She's like, sit down with me. Like, this is, you know, like, do you smoke in front of my kid? And it's like, first off, your daughter's an adult.
And also, like, I mean,
26 years old is how old he is. So,
yeah.
Like,
this should be around the same age. But also, too, it's like,
I'm sure she's seen smoking before.
And like, yeah, get the fuck off my jock. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, are you okay?
You're not my parent.
And also, too, I mean, like, she's an adult, like you said. What's that got to do with them? Like, I don't know.
Because she's like, that's my kid. That's
like,
my
secondhand smoke. There's a lot of other things I'm sure that's killing her right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real. It was just fucking weird. But the whole time she's like telling him, yeah, we just, you know, we use some focal points to guide someone into a heightened state of suggestibility, which she has been doing this whole time. Because at this point, she's been stirring her tea. The moment he sits down, she grabs that saucer and teacup, and she's just scraping that, like the fucking
rim.
spoon. Yeah. And the grating, like, sound that the spoon on the cup is making is uncomfortable, but it's also soothing.
At the same time.
It was making me being like, because it was just so repetitive.
Because it's consistent.
Yeah. And so I was just hearing it and I was like, oh. And then especially once the rain started coming in, I was like, oh, I am getting kind of sleepy.
You did get hypnotized.
Oh, yeah. I'm hypnotized right now. But then she starts bringing up some like super fucking triggering like remarks that are just triggering his trauma. And I imagine that is to make him more susceptible. Because
it's like breaking the mind almost to make it like malleable, to make it weak.
Yeah. You're making him think about these things. He's becoming highly
and also and like
vulnerable.
And then when he's thinking, he's going deep into his psyche. So she's also like following him along for the ride, getting in there. I feel like, you know, like a virus
until she can
would
push him off the cliff is basically what it is. And so
Yeah, and she's making him think about like all of his repressed trauma of like his mom with the hit and run and like
Why didn't you call anyone?
what exactly happened. Yeah, why didn't you call anyone? I was like, well, just calm the fuck down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he says, I can't move.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, you can't move? And
Yeah.
she goes, well, you're paralyzed, just like that day you did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, damn, bitch. That's savage.
She's being a hoe bag.
Yeah, what the
Yeah.
hell? And then
Very
she goes,
insensitive of Missy.
yes. Yeah. Yeah, for a psychiatrist
Yeah.
to then just be like, you're paralyzed,
Yeah.
like the day you did nothing.
Because we know what her end game is here now.
Mm-hmm. And then she says, now sink into the floor. And he goes, wait. And she goes, sink. And I
Just
love
falls
the
the
way
way that it goes into him falling into the black, and then
and
like
the way that
the
the
screen.
word sink sounded
Oh,
too,
yeah.
even with the motion, like the timing of everything
Uh-huh.
happened. Like it was just all beautiful the way he fell back.
Yes.
And the soundtrack, the score that came in there, like came in at the exact right time with the word that. So sync just had
Sync.
more resonance.
Yeah.
And it was just really beautiful. And then of course that scene with him floating is just
Yeah.
gorgeous.
And then like showing you like more so like kind of how like he's now in the sunken place, and like you can see it's like he's watching his life as if it's a TV show.
Yeah, he's
almost, because he's
watching-
no longer in control.
Like he's in a little pit and he's watching his eyes, in this tiny little far off rectangle. And that's what his eyes are seeing, but he is merely a passenger at this point. And then he wakes up in bed, startling awake, sees that
As
his
one
phone is
would.
unplugged, which is like this keeps we find
keeps
is a
happening. Yeah.
recurring
To
thing
make sure his phone's dead.
to make sure he can't reach the outside world. But then he gets going around and he's like, okay, yeah, that was kind of weird. And
Yeah,
stuff.
he's just like, maybe it was a dream, I guess, or maybe not. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And he's going and he's taking some photos outside. And this is where we get the
Encounter with Walter, right? And he's like, sorry about my exercise last night.
and he says something like, I never got to properly introduce you. And then Walter says, she's nice, right? And he's like, Rose? And he says, one of a kind, top of the line, a real doggone keeper. And the way that his eyes deliver that
Crazy eyes.
is insane.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And it's also like, why are we speaking in 1920? Like,
Exactly.
okay.
Exactly. It was clearly like this person is out of time, out of place. It's what they're saying, and we get that with Georgina and also Logan, who is also Dre. That their speech is very off. Their mannerisms,
Yeah.
everything is wrong for that age of a human being.
Yeah.
And
It just
especially,
doesn't fit.
yeah, it doesn't at all.
So they sound like old white men.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it doesn't sound right. Yeah, and that's whenever he wants to smoke, but then like he realizes like the hypnosis must have worked because he doesn't want to smoke anymore.
He
Yeah,
says it makes him want to throw up.
yeah,
Walter also says at the end of it, he goes, I should get back to my work and mind my own business. And he goes, and mind my own business. And
Yeah.
it's like, ooh. Ooh.
like
Homeboy's just telling him, like, you better move the fuck along, sir.
Yeah.
But he's saying like about himself, and it was just like, ugh, that's so fucking creepy.
cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah, creepy. All of the above. Yeah.
Oh,
And
no.
then was that before whenever Georgina was the phone, was that whenever Georgina was like unplugging the
that was the first time that he
okay.
says she unplugged it, but I bet you it was
She kept going.
Rose,
Yeah.
too.
Oh, that's true.
probably doing it in his sleep. But yeah, so then he gets back upstairs. They're getting ready for
the
the
party.
and he mentions like, I had this weird dream, like I was in this like place, it was like dark and stuff. And at this scene is where I also really noticed it. Her face almost looks giddy as she says, oh God, that sounds awful. And she's like saying these words, but her
face
facial
doesn't match with what
expressions
she actually
aren't
is saying.
matching. Yes, which she does a great job of at the end too.
Oh yeah.
It's fucking
whenever
creepy.
things are turning,
Yes.
twisting.
And so I thought that was like a really good part on her end where it's like she's showing that she's really happy, like that, okay, everything's working. It's working. The sunken place is working, and she can confirm it. And then, now we get a whole shitload of white people that
They're
show
all
up,
popping in.
and they being racist as fuck.
Literally, yeah. So they're all together, and then we go through not a montage, but like just different.
We're meeting different couples.
We're meeting different couples, and it's different versions of just them either commenting on his physicality or on
One
so
lady asked, "Is it better?
Yeah.
Is it true what they say? Is it better?" And they were just like, "Wow,
yeah,
okay."
and then also just like the comments that they're making as well, like
Black is in fashion.
black is in fashion, literally,
Yeah.
like
and it's like, okay, someone's culture is not a fashion trend.
yeah,
You can't
most
just
definitely.
don it
it's-
because you woke up and when it suits you,
Mm-hmm.
you're wanting to take parts of their culture that fit you in that moment, but not actually support the culture or the people that are a part of it.
Yeah,
You want to disenfranchise them
exactly.
and use what you can that you like. It's just like people in the Bible too. They pick out the shit that works for them and then they ignore the rest.
You hear that, Christians? Your damn Bible.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, but literally though, but no, yeah, and you're very right in all of what you just said, and also too, it's the way that even like the way they're like black is in fashion, how you're saying like it's almost like it's like they're so not racist that they've convinced themselves that they're not racist, but they are so racist that they're like able to like rationalize and like they're willing to do this to black people because they love black people culture so much, but they don't actually love it enough or black people enough to
view them as actual humans
to not do this to you.
that they're murdering
Yeah, yeah.
and stealing.
And-
Because I imagine,
And
well,
imagine them not even necessarily murder because they're basically entrapping them in their own body. It's like a torture.
yes, it is,
Yeah.
and that's why
then-
Walter at
and-
the end. But they,
Yes.
when we get to the film of the grandpa explaining it, he says, "This is something our order has been working on for a long time and only recently perfected," which means that they've been experimenting on these people for years, for probably centuries,
Just
and
killing
not
black,
centuries,
killing
but
black people
just
for
killing
the
them
sake of this
to
surgery.
see so
Yeah.
they could live longer
Mm-hmm.
and have
Or
all
just
the
have
benefits of being young and
of what they think to be in like yes.
yes. And so it's just they've been doing this. This is something, and it's essentially this is also just like the slave trade. They're literally auctioning these people off, and so it's just
As we see here in a little bit,
sick.
because at the party he's mingling with all these people. Everybody's being super racist, super weird, super
asking
whatever,
the most
asking,
obscure questions.
Yeah, kind of prying.
That suit their needs,
Mhm.
not his. They're not actually trying to ask things about Chris. They're trying to find out, will
Yeah.
he work for me?
And then exactly, right? Because as we see here eventually, before we get to that part, well, he does meet that blind guy, right? That's like kind of having his own commentary. That's even weird. And then asking him about how he's a photographer, and then, right? He asks him.
Yeah, we meet Dre before it.
That's right.
But yeah, so he's like looking through the camera lens, and I like those camera lens scenes. But then he focuses on Dre, which, of course, Dre is acting hella weird.
Yeah, but it's the way he was like so like happy. He was like, "Oh, finally, it's another black person. Okay,
yeah,
cool."
that's maybe not as weird as these
Yeah,
other fuckers.
Yeah, but then no, he meets Dre.
He's like, oh, nope, he's just as fucking weird.
Just as weird because it's not really Dre. Which Dre is played by Lakeith Stanfield. Yeah,
He's
is
good.
a good actor.
He did a
Yeah.
great job.
He's been a few, a lot of other things,
He's-
but
yeah,
like
he
he's
is good
good.
in a lot.
The things that I've seen him in.
And whenever the Dre's wife, I guess, Logan's wife, comes to pull him away, Chris goes for a fist bump and Dre grabs his whole hand for a
Literally,
handshake,
yeah.
which is just showing yet again that
Some cultural difference of
cultural
like that's
slash time
that's-
difference.
It's like that's not how.
Like any
They would-
young person,
yeah.
if the fist was held up to them, they would know to fist bump.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to go for a handshake. Like you would never just grab my hand, like unless you're trying to make like a funny turkey or something, you know.
That feels really nice though.
Oh, you can grab my hand.
Okay, let's stop. Too close. Okay, not that kind of podcast, you guys. But yeah,
Hello.
so yeah, he's having this whole conversation with Dre, but then Dre's wife or whatever
she is.
that situation is, the person inside Dre's wife,
Yeah.
comes up and
Pulls him away because other people want to look at him.
Yeah, and I love the way that Dre even said, like in that weird voice too. He was like, "Chris was just telling me that he was so comfortable by my presence
He was
here."
much more,
Much
with my being here.
Yeah, like it's so weird for even someone to even comment on that. Like what? Okay, but anyways, yeah, and that's the way she pulls him away because other people want to talk to him or see him.
And he literally is like turning around. I was like, they're showing him off like he's some sort of goddamn show pony.
Yeah.
Like, it's just weird. And so then finally Chris is
and
like,
Chris is picking up on all of that.
yeah, Chris is like, this is weird as fuck. I need to step away. Oops, sorry. And then, yes, we meet Jim Hudson, the blind art dealer.
Yes. And they get to talking. It's the way that already you're getting the sus vibes from Jim because he's being just
he's being severe on
that's
the
true.
people he is surrounded with, rightly so, but he is very much
he's a hypocrite
part of it.
Yeah.
So it's it's like, oh, and he's just saying things like, one day you're developing prints in the dark room and the next you wake up in the dark. And then I was like, that could also hint at what's to come for Chris.
Yeah,
he's like basically telling him like, but you won't wake up in the dark.
There's a lot of innuendos here. Yeah.
And
then they have their whole little conversation. And then that's whenever, after that, he's trying to take a picture of Andre, right?
Well, he goes back upstairs. He goes back upstairs first. And he's like, okay, this is all fucking weird. I think he was going to call Rod.
That's when he calls. Yeah, he wanted to call Rod.
And this is when, and it's weird. The moment he gets upstairs, the entire party downstairs that was inside the house goes quiet. And they just listen for what he's doing upstairs. And it's just like, that's so creepy. Also, you can tell when people stop conversing.
Because it's like, it goes from sounding like a cafe to like crickets.
Yes, exactly. So I was like, y'all aren't being discreet. But yeah, his phone is unplugged yet again, and he notices Georgina in the next room, and he tells Rose, he's like, come here. Like, I think she's been unplugging my phone. And she's like, oh, what? So you're just so sexy that people are unplugging your phone? And I was like, bitch, yes, he is.
He is, but also what does that have to do with that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what? Like what kind of...
Because he had made the comment of, I don't think she likes that I'm with you.
Oh, that's right.
And...
But still, like what would that do anything to like, because unplugging someone's phone? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And also I took it as she didn't like that she was dating a black man.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. And then Rose turns it around on him, which is just like...
the Rose thing to do.
Yes. And so, I don't know. I was just like, ugh.
It's aquatic.
But he, like... plugs his phone back on and then he calls Rod and he's like, I feel like we're just on display, and he says how he was hypnotized and Rod was like, they gonna make you a sex slave.
Literally. I love how throughout the whole movie he's just like, he's a sex slave.
Yep, that's his whole go-to. He's like so close, but then at the last minute he's like got it like on the head. He's got nail on the head, fucking exactly correct. And then he's like, sex slave, which I mean,
ultimately, wouldn't that be a sex slave? They're having sex.
Yeah, Logan. Well, because they made the comment, Logan and that lady.
Oh, girl, yeah, that's right.
She was like, lately we haven't been able to leave the house, and they were like making suggestive eyes at each other. So, AKA, they've just been fucking all day.
That's so weird. That's so weird. It's weird on a lot of levels. Gap.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Well, and then just like there's a person inside of that. Like, does that person feel that? Do they feel
pleasure, or is
or
is that
even
rape?
Yeah, like that's just weird. Like, I don't. And then that is rape because that's someone else's body. That's not even, you don't even have consent. Obviously, there's a whole lot of layers right there.
Damn. Yeah, that's fucking fucked up.
Makes me feel a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Damn. And it's fucked up. Yeah.
But anyways, Rod is right all along, and Chris makes the comment. He says it's like all the black people here have missed the movement.
Yeah.
And he says, and then Rod says, they're probably hypnotized or some shit. And you can see the flicker of fear across Chris's face where he's just like.
Where that starts becoming like that could be a reality.
Yeah, this could be true. And it is.
Yeah. But yeah, and so that's why he's telling Rod all that. And then that's whenever he tries to go and he's like, get that picture of Andre. Am I still jumping?
Georgina comes in though, as he's talking. No, but it's just. I think this interaction with Georgina is important because we mentioned it. He makes a comment. He says, if there's too many white people, I get nervous. And then Georgina at this point.
This is the big point.
Is like looking him in the eye, and her face just starts.
When she wants to literally
crying.
Break out. Yeah.
And then she's like silent for a second and just tears. And then she goes, no. Oh, no. And like laughs and stuff. And it's just like.
Yeah, it looks like a cyborg like breaking down.
Yes, it was like you could tell there was like her body was giving a emotional response
Mhm.
that did not
match with what
the
the grandma
words.
was wanting to do. Like they were both fighting each other for
Yes.
like control of that body in that moment.
Both souls were on
Mhm.
display.
Yeah.
And then as Georgina leaves, she goes, "They treat us like family."
Mm-hmm.
It's like, bitch, because you are their fucking family.
Literally.
You with your weird ass brain implanted in someone else.
That is so
God.
crazy. But yeah. And so I'm not even gonna say what's
But
happening.
yes, no,
'Cause-
so he goes
I was like
downstairs.
the way I kept wanting to jump to that part.
They're like having more conversation. There's
Mhm.
one Asian individual
Mhm.
here, and his name was Hiroki, and he asks if being African American has more advantages
Oh,
or
yeah.
disadvantages in the modern world, because I imagine he also incurred a lot of racism towards himself
Mm-hmm.
as well. And it's like,
Yeah, he's trying to like.
see,
Get
like, am
his
I going to have to put up with this
perspective.
shit some more?
Yeah.
Like, or have you found that is your experience now in this modern world
Mm-hmm.
to not be as
I
like
didn't even. Yeah, I guess so. I didn't even think about it like that. Yeah. He was
That-
like, maybe you're
maybe your experience will be better for
better.
me.
Yeah.
And that's, we can't comment on that.
No, we can't.
Because that's not, yeah.
Don't have that experience.
Yep. And so then this is where he goes, well, how about Dre, Logan? Or he says Logan. He goes,
Mhm.
would you like to take this one? And is saying, like, will you answer this question?
Yeah.
And Logan goes on to say, like, you know, he's going on, he's telling, and then Chris
Takes-
is trying to record.
Yeah,
here,
he's trying to
or
record.
take a photo.
Take a photo. Both.
Yeah.
Anything that he can get at the moment, but it's the way that the flash goes off, and that's what sets off
It's like a
Lo-
reset.
Logan / Andre ish. You know what we're talking about. And he starts having like, well, he just starts like freaking out. You can tell like something happens in his eyes; they dilate, and then he
His
starts
nose
getting the
bleeds.
nosebleed, and he's like,
just yells,
yelling, "Get out!
"Get out."
To Chris.
Get the fuck out, get out, get out. And he's like
Yeah.
losing his mind. And you can see there was a change of emotion in
Mhm.
his eyes. He was
Mhm.
his eyes before
Like a
looked
deer
dead.
caught in headlights.
And then now they look terrified. There was
Mhm.
pure terror. He did such a seamless, beautiful job of
Mhm.
switching
Yeah.
entire beings in that moment. And it's so creepy.
Yeah.
And then it flashes to everyone inside, Chris, Rose kind of comforting him on the couch and stuff. And then Logan comes back in, and they're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, we're just glad you're yourself again." I was like, he's not
Mm.
himself.
After he had
He's
a moment
fucking
with
not
Missy.
himself.
Misty, with the mom,
Oh,
right?
yeah. No, I actually don't know her name.
Missy. I
Missy.
think that's what her name.
Yes, it is.
And
Armitage.
yeah, because she put him back in that hypnotic state, and then they try to pass it off as if he was just having an epileptic seizure
Yeah.
moment, and I'm like, that's not what that looks like.
Yeah, exactly. And so
At all.
they're tying that up, and they're saying, well, why don't we do something that's more enjoyable?
Mm-hmm.
And so they go to split off. Chris and Rose decide to go on a walk, and the family is going to go do something else.
Which we learn is a auction
That's right.
for Chris, as they're raising up, they're trying to pass it off as bingo and raising their bingo cards.
Mm-hmm.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
As if the McCrispy couldn't get any better, Bacon and Ranch just entered the chat. The Bacon Ranch McCrispy, available at participating McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Okay, but yeah, so there's a fucking auction.
There's a freaking auction for Chris.
And Rose, so it seemed like Rose was trying to comfort Chris by
Mhm.
getting him to go on this walk.
But no, this is a distraction.
Getting him
Yeah,
away
to
from
leave.
the fact that, yes, they were literally auctioning him off.
Mm-hmm.
And this auction scene, beautiful.
Mm.
It's really well done. I like the lack of dialogue that's happening on their end.
Yeah, because at that point you're still trying to figure out like, wait, what's happening? Wait, for
Mhm.
real?
Yeah, because you don't really know until Chris's photo
It pulls
comes into
into
frame.
yeah, exactly. Mhm.
And that is a beautiful photo of him. He looks
Mhm.
so damn good in it. I was
So
like,
beautiful. He's a
damn.
beautiful person.
He is. But yeah, and so the lack of dialogue that's happening on their end, and then the somewhat overlapping dialogue that's happening, because we keep flashing between Chris
Mhm.
and Rose.
And
And
he's
the
trying
auction.
to convince her that he wants to go. He does not want to be there anymore.
Yeah, because he's like, my cousin was epileptic. I've seen this shit.
That's not
That
what
was not an epileptic epileptic seizure.
Mhm.
And she was like, well, my dad's a doctor, so I'm inclined to believe him. And it's like, okay, well, fuck you.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, but
Also no.
No.
Like we know that, and I've seen it too. I've seen people who have epileptic seizures, and like that's not it.
I feel lying vibes from your whole family, so I'm not inclined to believe
I don't wanna stay
anything
here
that they say.
anymore, especially while they're having a freaking auction across the way.
Exactly. He knows his spidey senses are tingling.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rod's TSA senses.
Literally. Because then I guess while they're doing all that, then it cuts to, well, Rod is even, then he gets the picture of Logan, aka Andre, right? Or Andre, aka Logan. Whatever we wanna.
Whenever they get back up
to
the room.
Yeah, well, and before that, we figure out that Jim wins the
Yes,
the
Jim
auction.
wins the auction, and basically Chris is like, okay, fine, like we can stay here. And he's like, I love you. And she's like, I love you too. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, it's so fucking sad because he does love her and he trusts her and he's deciding to stay in this situation for her.
That he's obviously uncomfortable with.
Because in the way that she reacted to him wanting to leave was so rude. And then she
manipulates.
makes it better by saying, let's go home, making him think he can get out. And that's she makes him feel better by that.
Yeah.
But then that move in and of itself is like giving him that last little shred of hope, dangling it in front of him, and then she's just ripping it the fuck out from him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's literally like a fucking slave trade auction, and it's just this like perpetual cycle that can't be escaped. And it said maybe not necessarily with their bodies, but their culture being watered down and all that stuff, and everything is just being sold off to fit white people's needs.
Wow.
So,
okay, that's a good commentary right there.
That's just
it's
like
a hot take.
But
it's mind-boggling.
Oh, and then this is where Chris tells Rose that his mom had survived the initial hit, and so this is where we figure out that if he wouldn't have
frozen up and would have acted,
possibly he could have saved her. But there's
but
also
we still don't
no way to know
there's
that. Like, yes, she survived the initial hit,
but she still could have died even if if life-saving procedures were done too. She still could have died. But
exactly.
So he's definitely carrying and has been carrying a lot of guilt his whole life for that.
And then that's when he says, I won't abandon you, because she's like, you're going to leave me here? And he's like, I won't abandon you, Rose. And then that's when he says he loves her. And it's like, oh my God. Like, it's just, he's so fucking nice.
Yeah.
I hate it. But yeah, so they go back, everyone's leaving. Jeremy's being creepy as fuck with the ukulele on the sets, both sets of parents. So we've got Georgina and Walter standing there. Just standing together like a couple.
Yeah.
And then Missy and Dad.
Forget Dad's name.
Yeah, me too. Dean. And so they're up there and they're just like watching him, like smiling approvingly, because they know like that they're about to get to do
what they've been planning to do this whole time.
Exactly. Shit's about to go down. But yeah, so he gets back upstairs. He sends the pic of Dre to Rod, and Rod immediately calls him. Wastes zero time.
He's like, I already know who that is.
And he's like, nah, boy. And he goes, sex slave. Whenever he says that she's like 30 years older than him and stuff. And I was like, yeah.
So Andre had been missing from Brooklyn for some while. Rod already recognized him, and he's telling him that. And that's whenever
Chris's phone dies. And I forget what he's looking for, but then he gets to the closet, right? Yeah, the closet door is just open. And he had noticed it open earlier in the movie. So I guess he was like, well, fuck, let me go investigate, because my phone's fucking dead, and what the hell, we're getting out of here anyways.
Yeah, and so that's whenever he's looking, and he finds that little box that has all the pictures of Rose with a whole bunch of other black people.
Yep.
And he's sifting through them, and through the end, that's when he sees Walter and Georgina, and he's getting the idea of like, oh God, like she's in on this.
Yeah.
Like,
and it was clear that they had an intimate relationship in these photos.
From the way that they're taken, they're very close together. It
Clearly
looks like they're
not
in a relationship.
A groundskeeper.
And like, and they were dressed differently.
Yes. Wildly differently.
Yes.
More appropriate for their age, and not like they're stuck in the 50s or some shit. Which like, nope.
Very
hate
much
to you
so.
if you dress like the 50s, but
yeah, no.
That's not your commonplace.
Yeah.
Especially with the mannerisms, it's all wrong.
Yeah. And so he finds these pictures, he's looking at them, and then it's the way that Rose comes back upstairs, and then she's like, oh, and he's like, oh.
Yeah, he closes the door and she's
fast.
there, and it's like,
yeah. And then at that point, I'm sure she knew what he was looking into.
Oh,
right?
she did.
She very much so. And it's at this point, I'm sure she feels like there's so much in control that they can do whatever they want. At this point, that she's probably fucking with him, and she left that open for him to find.
Yeah. Oh, I would.
Yeah.
And I would.
Would
think
not
so.
put it past her. But yet
then
she's
it does
still
help.
playing along.
Yes, it does help for, like, as we find out later, it helps if they have a mutual understanding of the process, both brains going into it.
Yeah.
So I think they do need him to know.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But yes, like, because he's like, well, I was just looking for my camera. And she's like,
Literally right
you
here.
mean the one that's right here?
Yeah.
And he's like,
Bloop.
oh.
And so he's telling her to get the keys, and she's like taking forever. So he's like, "We can just do this on the way out, right?"
Yep.
And so she's
on
like,
the move.
"Oh yeah, sure." So she's looking for the keys, and it's him like trying to get out and go by the door, but it's the way that
Jeremy's just standing there with the
blocking
lacrosse
it.
stick.
Yeah, and then the mom asks him like, "Oh, going somewhere?"
And she's got the teacup in hand.
Mm-hmm.
The whole family is like literally surrounding him.
Yeah.
They're like circling their prey.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, like, it feels like they're hunting him. Just like he is the deer.
Very much that. And it's whenever and then the dad says some shit that I don't remember what he says. What did he say?
So yeah, he's at this point that like dad comes in. You can see on Chris's face that he's starting to realize this family's gonna kill him, and you can tell he's starting to realize Rose is in on it too. But the dad says something like, "We are the gods trapped in cocoons," and some dumbass line, which we get later in the Coagula video.
Yeah.
That there's like a hatching and
Coagula.
yeah, Coagula.
Behold
That
the
felt very
Coagula.
like Ratma, like VHS
Yeah,
to me.
it did,
I
didn't
loved
it?
it.
Yeah.
I love
That whole little
video.
video.
They did a great job.
And yeah, it's the way that he's the whole time that the dean is having this little monologue with him.
Rose is like,
He's trying to get Rose is quote unquote trying to get the
searching when
keys
when he looks at her.
while he's like, Rose, please, the keys. And then it's like it's the heartbreaking like the tone in his voice when he's like, please, the
Yeah.
keys.
And then he's
please.
like, Rose, the goddamn keys.
Yeah.
And he's like switching in between, like you can tell he's like, sorry, I didn't mean to yell. But then he's like freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, obviously. And it's
Like-
the way he's like, finally, like, where are the keys, Rose? And she's like, these keys.
You know,
It's
I
right
can't
here.
give them to you, right,
Can't give
babe?
'em to you.
And then she waves it up.
Ugh. Yeah.
The way her face drops immediately is
and then
just like,
and then the way
damn.
his face is just like, okay, I like literally have been played. Like,
Yeah.
just
And
like,
then
ugh.
Jeremy comes and mom hits that teacup immediately
And he
and
just
sends
falls
him
back.
to the fucking sunken place. Yeah.
Mhm.
Really, yeah. I mean, that was it. Could be head trauma there. So
Yeah.
that wasn't smart.
Yeah, and
Which
then,
they
it's the way
say.
they're like, oh, did he hurt himself? And then Jeremy's like, did you see the way he fucking fell? And I'm just like,
Yes, we saw.
yeah, literally. That's why we're asking the question.
Yep. And then, so we get Chris in the sunken place, and you see them like carrying him off, and then Rose leans in and says, "You are one of my favorites."
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
like,
And then he's like, did you hear that? You were one of her favorites.
it's like,
Yeah.
fuck you, like fuck you.
Very big fuck you.
But this is where we now flash back to Rod though, because he was like,
He's
my
going-
TSA senses are tingling. And he's sitting there, and I liked, this was something I also noticed this morning, that while he's sitting there with Sid, the dog, to go look up and look into Andre's disappearance, there is an ad about aging and losing your wits as you age that's
Oh, really?
playing on the TV,
Oh, wow.
which was like,
Yeah,
that's
it ties
literally
in
the whole premise of
of
this.
what they were wanting to try to like get away from. The white people.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, he's doing his detective work, and then
Seeing Gray's
actually-
been missing for 6 months, and
then actually he takes that to the cops.
yeah, we were flashing in between now. Rod's solving this fucking case.
Yeah, basically.
And then in between we see Chris. It flashes back to Chris, and he's in this
basement ish kind
beautiful
of
as
thing.
fuck.
Yeah, strapped to some chairs.
in front of a TV set and a deer bust, and it ties. And this is where I was like, this ties the father rambling about deers back in.
Yeah.
And I was like, poor Chris. He is literally just this deer that the father views as an expendable pawn. But then this is where we get the Coagula video before he goes.
Yeah,
"So
which
please."
what you brought up. Yeah, that's right.
And this video is
then-
fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's totally sets like it
The
does
little
what it needed to do.
transitions
The
are
music that's in the background, the way it gives like whenever your teacher in like second grade would roll in like that big metal cart with the TV on it and put it in a
Yeah, it's got
VHS
little
tape.
straps.
Yes, literally, it gave that vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the it reminded me of like the Veggie Smasher
Mm,
video in VHS 94, and then like just the whole vibes at like 80s. It's very 80s, 90s kind of
It's old.
transitions.
Well, and you can tell because the kids were little.
Yes, yeah, the kids
Yeah.
were little. So this is something they've been planning for obviously years since then.
Yeah.
And at that point, they were saying it's been recently. Like, so at this point, there's no telling how many
people they
other
have done that
people
to.
they've done this
Like
to.
for their friends, for all those white people, for the auctions, how many auctions there have
Because
been?
they've had it
They said
every year.
year, literally, that the kids have been alive. So that's
so
crazy.
It's just fucking, oh, God. It's sick.
Yeah.
And
But yeah, so yeah, and Rose's grandfather is basically explaining all that, the procedure, how it's easier and it works better whenever the person who is about to happen to knows and understands what's about to happen to them.
and they go, the coagula,
The coagula, behold the coagula.
which is funny.
Which I,
But
yeah.
then I'm not sure what the name is or.
yeah,
I'm
what
sure
this
it has
procedure, and
something.
it's the way that like they also didn't even like fucking explain it.
Yeah.
They just were very vague
They were
about
just
like
saying, welcome. Maybe you'll even enjoy being a part of
the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah. But then we switch back to Rod now telling us with
Going-
the police
going to the
officers.
cops,
You
going
want
to
to tell
the
us
cop
how
lady.
that goes down?
Yeah, and so he goes to the police and he's trying to tell this story. I love how he took the dog with him too. And he's
like,
telling
Sid, I'm
literally-
watching this dog.
Literally,
Cute, huh?
he's trying to tell the story to her. And I love how she's kind of like at first like, your boy's missing. He's like, no, my friend Crit. Like,
Yeah, he's 26.
His presence in the movie is like that light sense of comedy that you need to kind of like pull you out of the tension. So that way when you go back into it, you're like, oh fuck, this
Yeah,
is a
because
horror
it
movie.
almost makes you feel safe.
Yeah.
And then it pulls you back and like, oh shit,
Yeah.
some
Real-
wild, nasty
it's
shit is
happening.
happening. Yeah.
So I love how he's telling her that story, and then finally when he gets done there, she's like, okay, wait, hold on. And then it flashes to like the other cops and
three
the three of them,
yeah.
just so that way she can get a good little laugh with the other cop guys, because they all obviously think like his
He's
story does
being-
sound cockamamie, like very crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but because it's like, who wants to believe that would be happening? But and then of course, because it's an addition of sex slaves, they're not just regular slaves, they're sex slaves.
the sex slaves makes it laughable.
Yeah.
And they're quite literally laughing him off.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
And I love the line when he's going back in there and he's explaining to them. He's like, as a TSA
TSA.
agent, we got the same training as y'all detectives.
Ours
We
probably a
might
little
even
bit
know
better."
more because we're dealing with some terrorist shit.
Yeah, literally,
I
literally.
was like,
Probably.
probably, yeah. Who knows?
But aren't they like their job is to profile people?
Yeah,
Literally.
it is.
Yeah.
It's their whole job.
It's their whole
I've
job.
seen it happen.
But yeah.
But anyways, they laugh Rod off, and he basically realizes like if
He's
he
gotta
wants
take-
anything to be done, it's on his shoulders now. He has to do it himself. And so we flash to him taking some notes and stuff, and he's like sitting there. He's got all these notes, and he's got, "Fuck, magic ain't real," and he scratches out magic. And then this is where we get.
He tries to call. He calls Rose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he calls Chris's phone,
But it doesn't work.
and it does.
Or no,
work
she
this
picks it
time.
up. That's
She picks
right.
up.
That's right. Duh.
And
Because she says that stupid line of like, he left and he left his phone. I'm like, who does that? It's 2018.
What? You haven't seen him?
Yeah, this whole
He left 2 days ago. Like,
that whole moment. Yeah.
ugh, I don't know. And the way that her voice changes too
Mm-hmm.
when she says Rod, and she's like, "Oh, Rod," and it's like you can hear that she's like, "Okay, I can manipulate this bitch," because she's been working him
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah. She has.
And was like ready to get him in as like some either scapegoat, like side story, like to frame him or something, and or to then
Or
later
to
pull
then
him in
eventually
later.
get him later into this
Yeah.
whole shindig. But yeah, it's the way that he's like telling her like, hold up, after she's like kind of giving him this. He already knows like something's weird about this. And
Yeah,
she's
he can
like,
tell.
he's like, hold up, just wait 1 second, because he wants to record the conversation. And when he comes back to record it, she obviously changes up because I mean she's a smart, she's
She
a
is smart.
psychotic bitch, but she's smart. And
Yeah.
she knew probably either he had someone else listening or he's trying to record it. So that's when she switches up very quickly and is like basically trying to make it seem like he's
Into her,
been trying to
she's
get
like,
her,
I know
and she's
you
like,
want to
stop.
fuck me,
Yeah.
and stuff, and it's like, whoa, and he's like, I'm trying to fuck. Why would anyone want
Crazy.
to fuck you?
Yeah,
Like,
literally, and then hangs up. He's like, "You crazy ass
and
bitch."
he's like, God damn, she's a genius.
Yeah, but literally, because he knows too. It's funny.
He knows it. Yeah,
what
she
she's doing, the
displayed him.
shtick that she's playing.
Exactly. And that scene is just so unsettling as she acts scared with her voice, but her face is just completely stone cold.
Yeah.
Shows like a complete lack of emotion. And it's just like, he says the line, "You talk too goddamn much. You're going to say something."
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she turns it around on him. But then we flash back to Chris now, and this is where we meet Jim on the screen. And he's
awaiting the medical procedure that they're about to go through. And that's when he's
they're just having a friendly chat before they murder Chris.
and he's letting him know that. And that's, I think, when he says, like, it's easier when the patients know what's happening. You know, it's supposed to have for a smoother transition. That's what they say, or something like that.
Yeah, and he says the phase 1 is hypnotism, which we found out. Phase 2 is the mental preparation, a pre-op of sorts, he says. And then phase 3 is the transplantation. And he says the sliver of you will be in there somewhere, aka the sunken place, and your existence will be merely as a passenger, as an audience. And then Chris is like, okay, fuck yeah, I see exactly how this is going to work.
Yeah.
And then I think he says like why, like what is this happening? And he says, sorry, my notes just went up to the top, but it pans in on Jim's face, and he's saying, "I want your eye, like I want to see through your eyes." And that scene is just so creepy because it's just that low quality video that's happening on this, old television set, and it's creepy.
And at this point, I think somewhere in between that, he had noticed that whenever, because he was so nervous, he had been like scratching at the armrest, the arm of the chair, leather chair he's sitting in. And so he notices that there was like little cotton coming out of the chair. And so at this point, the tea, after Jim gets off of the video screen, the tea cup thing comes back on to like try to get him to like go back into hypnosis, but and it's the way that seemingly like you'd think that he was hypnotized, but so whenever Jeremy comes back, well, first we see Dean setting up like the operating, right?
Yeah, and he has his like sterilized hands in front of his face, and then he pulls up his mask, and I was like, shouldn't you have
done that before? Yeah,
because now you just touched your face with your sterilized gloves. But whatever.
And so it's setting up that you get to see the which I was like, ugh, yeah, I don't like that.
I do like how you see the removal of the scalp through the glasses instead of a direct shot.
Oh yeah,
because it's like you still get the like full.
You still know what's
like,
happening. You get to kind of see it, but not necessarily seeing it because that's like a bit much.
It is
because even the removal of the skull, like the top part, was
and just
like,
watching it like
that's
fall.
Yeah,
was it's nasty.
It's unsettling.
But
and so they're prepping Jim for the surgery, and that's whenever Jeremy goes back to collect Chris, and he's in there, and that's the way that like he's unstrapping Chris, and then he's doing something. He's getting the wheelchair,
check
something.
The IV on it.
And then we see Chris grabbing one of those like decorative orb balls, and I'm sure it's heavy and like hits Jeremy in the back of the head, knocks him down a little bit.
Because it drew blood the first time.
Yeah, and then he has to hit him one more time. But I'm like, at that point, I'm like, come on, double tap. But he doesn't double tap.
He does later.
Yeah.
Make sure he extra dead.
And
that
so,
motherfucker is dead.
So then he's able to get away from Jeremy, and it's the way that then we cut to the operating room, and Dean's waiting for, Chris to come, or Jeremy to come in with Chris. And so, he goes out to look for him, and as he steps into the hallway, I love that it's like very immediate too. He's just like,
well, he looks around, he looks both right and left.
Yeah. And then when he comes back right, it's like, yeah.
And at this point, we're having the opening song. It's come back in with a sort of reprise. You're still getting those whispers, but on a different soundtrack now. And so that was really cool. It's like tying it all together. It feels like it's really coming together.
Yeah.
But yeah, the symbolism of him being killed with that deer is like, yes, fuck that dad. And then something catches fire. I'm not really sure what caught fire.
It's the operating room. Something had fell, and so somehow it caught fire. I'm not sure. But yeah.
I was like, maybe
downstairs
there was something.
ended up catching on fire.
But the whole place about to go up in flames.
And then we have Chris going upstairs, and that's when he runs into, Gerald.
When he immediately comes up the stairs, he sees Georgina. She runs off, but then he runs into Missy.
That's right.
That's the main encounter.
And so then it's the way that he sees the teacup, and like they both dart for it. He ends up being able to like smash it onto the floor, and then they have their little altercation where they're fighting.
She stabs him with scissors.
It's like it's either scissors, like a little scalpel or something.
Yeah.
Like, and it's the way that
we love a good.
He's able to catch it with his like scream.
Yep.
Catch it with her hand, and he's like, I'm gonna survive this. And he's like just pushing it, and then is able to like one up her and get her.
Yeah, and she thuds. And then he fucking stabs her with that knife still through his hand. And then he goes, keeps walking, knife still in hand.
Yeah.
When Jeremy's like, surprise, bitch.
Yeah. And
I'm not dead.
Jeremy tries to subdue him and is like choking him out. And so he's very smartly gets to the door to open it, knowing that
He can
Jeremy's
stab
going to
his
like
leg.
pull his leg up to close it, and he stabs him in the leg.
And then he
finally smashes his brains in.
probably a little bit overkill, but fucking smashes him. to
I'm sure you
bits.
had no problem with this.
Yes.
Because you were like, no, do it.
I didn't, yeah.
Because usually you don't like heads being smashed in.
Yeah. I didn't see it, so I was like,
Yeah.
yay!
Mm-hmm.
Smash his brains in!
And then finally he can fucking leave and tries to get out of the premises, but it's the way that and upstairs at this point
yeah,
it's
we
the way
flash
that
to Rose eating
is
Fruit Loops like a fucking psychopath.
Yeah,
Individually while sipping her milk.
It's
and
weird.
she's essentially shopping for a new boyfriend.
Yeah,
She's like online shopping
like
black man.
NCAA, yeah, like literally. And it's also too like
Boy, girl, you think you can pull one of them?
bright, and it's just I wonder whose choice that was to like choose her to eat the cereal like that in the milk, because
I
that's
don't
like
know.
so like
Well, even
conveying to her character
everything down to the outfit she is wearing.
Yeah.
So it's like a disgusting. It's like
And you notice the pictures on
the
her
pictures
wall,
on the
right?
wall. Yeah, she immediately hung those bitches back up. She was ready, and she's in her like completely starched like white collared button down with that nasty fucking khaki combo pants, and it's such a just like that is like such a basic fucking white ass outfit, and it's so fitting for the scene.
Yeah,
that costume designer, good,
knew what was going
amazing,
happening. Yeah,
because
and
it
so,
just makes it so much more gross.
and then eventually he's able to get out, but it's the way that
He hits Georgina with the
Georgina,
car,
right?
And he's like, "Fuck, don't
Yeah.
kill it." He hits her with the car, and he's
and I
fighting
think
with
it was
himself.
that thud that when he hit Georgina, though, that finally Rose is like, wait, what's happening?
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, fuck, takes off her little headphones because she had noise canceling headphones on, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And then is going downstairs or whatever. Then he goes and gets Georgina because he's like having that whole thing of like with his mom, he didn't want to leave her. And so he has her in the car. And then,
And by him going back for her, he's essentially making up for his past.
yeah,
And so that's like, it's a really
little
big
metaphor. Strong.
moment for him. But yeah, when she comes to, she's like, "You ruined my house.
You ruined my house, literally. And you can at that point see the scar where they had cut her head open to put the grandma's brain in there.
Exactly.
And so that point too, we have
the crash.
we have the crash, but isn't that because yeah, that's right, we have them crashing because she's trying to fight with him in the car, and then he's trying to get out of the car, and that's whenever Rose comes out with the shotgun and is shooting at him.
Just like you mentioned in the beginning.
Yep. And he's trying to escape, and it's the way that she's like, get him, Grandpa.
Yeah, Grandpa comes running by. Get him, Grandpa.
Yeah, get him, Grandpa, get him.
That's
And so,
right.
yeah, Grandpa's doing his track star thing and is running after him, and then he catches up with him. They get into a little scuffle,
But Chris is too smart.
and he uses his
Really
phone to
fast
flash
thinking.
the light in his face, and he gets
And you can
Walter
see his scar there.
to come to, and then that's whenever Rose comes up and is getting her shotgun ready, and then she's about to essentially shoot Chris, but then the Grandpa Walter is like, let me do it.
Yeah.
And so he grabs it and then shoots Rose, which is like at that point I was like, claps, yay, confetti.
Then he cocks it again, and you can see the like fear on Chris's face, like fuck.
Like
And
what's about to
then
happen? But then he's like
He immediately turns
off
that shit
himself
on himself.
because at that point too, like if that's already happened to you, like
I don't
unfortunately,
blame him. Yeah.
well, and two, like what? There's no, you're kind of.
like maybe you can be in control, but then there's always that feeling that someone else is
Yeah,
in
there's
there.
a whole person's brain in your head. I don't.
And I'm sure that you've been waiting to die for
Yeah.
so many years.
So
And-
yeah, he's out.
Yeah. So he
Shoots
did
himself,
that.
but it's the way that Rose is still alive, and
Mhm. He
they
did-
have this altercation where like he's like obviously wanting to kill her, but he can't kill her because he's just that good of a human soul that he can't kill another soul.
And the moment he comes up to her, she's like saying, "It's me, it's me.
Yeah.
Like I love you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And I was like, "You fucking lying
Manipulative
bitch."
ass bitch. Yeah.
And he starts choking her, and then the way that she smiles as
He's choking her. It's so weird. Yeah.
it's just like, and then the fucking flashing lights show up, and
It's the way that everybody's thinking like, oh fuck,
Fuck.
if this
I
is
was like,
actual cops, like
he's
how
done
could
for.
this end like this? Like
Mhm.
what? But lo and behold, it's Rod.
Rod.
Thank you, TSA.
yeah, and she's like before she realizes it, she's like, help, and then Rod's like, Chris, and then she realizes like, oh, okay, this fucking Rod, like we've lost.
Yeah.
And when Chris gets in the car, it's the way Rod's basically like, I told you so. And it's like, Rod, this is not the goddamn time for
Not the
this.
time.
Come on.
Love Rod though.
So this was actually the second. Well, there was an alternate ending, aka the first ending. And so this was the second ending.
Oh, what was the first ending?
So originally it was supposed to be the police, and Chris was supposed to get arrested,
Blamed for all
and
of it.
spend time in jail. And Rod was the only person who knew, but no one would listen. And basically, Rod is like sitting there trying to like talk to Chris about it, but Chris is a martyr, and he's just like, you know, like they're all fucking dead. This can't keep happening. I'm like, this has happened. This is what's just gonna. This is how it's going to be. Like, so it's been 6 months already. Like, stop fighting for this. Clearly nothing is going to change. They are never going to believe me, a black guy, over the fact that 4 white people are dead.
Yeah.
4 white people are dead. And along with 2 other individuals. And so he's basically like
which
saying,
one had a self-inflicted gunshot wound, so they could say that they did it together.
Yeah. And so essentially Chris is saying like, Rod, this is a lost cause. Like, you know, I love you and I appreciate you for doing this, but like, nah, this is it. So in the end, it was originally supposed to be, like a super strong commentary
surreal,
on how,
because that's how it would end up
Yes.
if that were to happen in real life.
And the reason all of us had that sinking gut feeling as the flashing lights rolled up is because, that was the original intent.
Which we all knew it was going to happen. Yeah.
But then he's like, no, you know, maybe we needed to give a little bit of a lighter and like, you know, give him a little bit of something. Like he just went through all this shit. Like, let's give him that. Like,
let's not end it on that dark of a note.
And it was a great ending.
And I
loved
and that's a subtle way of getting people to be like to provoke thought, and also to like to give it a good ending, but also psych us out because we still know what would happen. Like, we don't have to see it.
Had that been any other
we
person,
don't have to see it because we've seen it for the past all these years.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like we don't need to see it again in cinema.
Yeah.
But I get what you mean.
And so that was the actual ending that was supposed to happen. And but that's fucking Get Out. A wonderful, wonderful piece of cinema.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Coagula is like when things coagulates, it's like a massive coagulated matter. So
that's what they were trying to hint at.
Yeah, it essentially here it's just saying that in Get Out it just is their whole thing. So I don't know if the actual meaning of like coagulate and a massive coagulated matter maybe makes me think like that essentially they have been forced into their own little mass. And now, I don't know. That's maybe me thinking too much into it.
Thought-provoking.
But
leave it at that.
Yeah. So I think it's boo time, huh?
It's boo time.
Tell me how many boos you would give this.
I would give this, in terms of story, in terms of what it actually means, in terms of horror, all-around experience, how I know that this will be something that people will talk about for years to come because it's like such a strong commentary on like our culture right now. A 4.5. Yeah.
I give it a 5.
A 5?
I would give this a 6 if I could. A 10. I fucking love this film. I loved it so much the first time I saw it. And now it's... I had asked some other people today about like why, like if they had seen this and whether or not they liked it. And for the most part, everyone had, which I thought was wonderful because many times people don't watch horror films. And while this is not a slap you in the face horror, it's more of like a psychological thriller kind of thing.
I can see that.
But it is horror. Like the acts that happened were
horrendous. Yeah.
Yeah. It is terrifying. And everything, the way that it's just a very subtle, again, elevated presentation. And I
elevated horror.
Absolutely love every aspect of this film. I do. Like, there were no scenes that I was like, I could have done without that. None of it. I thought everything was so well intended.
Am I being harsh with my 4.5?
I just really love this film. I really, really loved it.
Oh,
It is
man.
my favorite of the 3 so far that have been produced by Jordan Peele.
Okay.
By far. Like,
I'm excited for his new one, Nope, coming out
yes,
as well.
I'm excited to see that. But I did ask around, so I do have some other
Yep.
ratings from people who don't actually typically watch horror. So the lowest one was from a friend of mine named Levin.
Mhm.
He gave it a 3, and he's like, it's better than most horror films. And he looked at me because he was like, I don't like horror, and most horror films kind of suck. And I was like,
Mm.
I can't necessarily agree with
Okay.
you because I
Can
like
see
them.
because there's probably like some intellectual like side to this movie, like the
Yes.
thought provokingness,
Yeah.
like, to where it's not just like a slasher or some demon possession kind of. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
He was
Mhm.
like, there is more to think about. He was like, and so overall, it was like better than most horror films. He was like, I wouldn't necessarily call it maybe a horror. I don't know.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, I get that. And then my friend Brittany gave it a 4, and she said it was creepy, but not necessarily scary. She said she wanted it to be a little bit more scary, but she's like, overall, it was still a great film. And she had really enjoyed watching it. And I know for a fact they never watch horror films because her partner is absolutely terrified of like can't even watch The Walking Dead.
Okay,
Like so scared of that stuff.
that's
So,
crazy. That's so unfathomable for me to even think about. Like,
oh yeah, to me I'm just like,
what?
This is, I fall asleep to
how's
this
that
every
scary?
night.
Literally. It's like
Um,
that TikTok of like them like, do you mind if I play like noise for me to fall asleep? And like, yeah, and it's like people screaming like
Yeah.
sounds of hell. Like,
It's like, oh, comforting.
literally.
Exactly. And then I asked one more friend, my friend Blair, and she gave it a 4.5 as well. She said she like the weird auction scene is the one that like stood out to her the most, and she was like, it was just
Such a big social
it's so
commentary.
creepy and everything, and then just the acceleration from then on to the end she really liked. And then overall, now most of them hadn't seen this film in quite a while, but again, just the fact that so many people, because if
Yeah.
I was to ask any of them had they seen this horror film, they would absolutely tell me no.
Yeah.
But that's why it's like I even asked, because I was like, Get Out has been seen by horror
Got a
lovers and
98.
horror lovers not like
Yeah.
alike, you know. Most everyone has seen
Well,
this
and
film.
also too, when it came out, it had a pretty big buzz around it as well.
because it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
It's
It
so
merits
good.
it merits the buzz.
It does.
Mhm.
That 98%, bump it up, tomato meter. It's
That
100.
84 public critic whatever
86.
reception. Yep.
Yeah, but here you have it. 5 and a 4.5. 4.5 and a 5. Sorry, we always say yours first. Duh.
It's okay.
And from your boobays, though.
From your boobays.
That's right. Get Out.
Yes.
2017. Jordan Peele production.
Was that 2017?
Yes,
Dang, already?
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right. Yeah, dang, yeah. It
Get
was.
Yeah,
It
I
was
think it's
2017.
2017.
Yeah, I just like for some reason still feel like that just only came out like a
I
year
know
ago.
it does feel very recent,
Yeah.
but time is basically irrelevant now.
It's very irrelevant.
I can't keep up with it.
Anyways, you guys.
As
As
always.
always, we are in the lovely Rogue Media Studio Network.
Mm-hmm.
We are Network Studios. They always take care of us here. Make sure you're checking out all the other podcasts I've got going on.
Yeah, lots of great ones. Anything that you need.
And
You want ghost stories? You want comics? We got them all. And you can
definitely
listen to them
us. Mhm,
and
or
listen to us.
Mhm.
Listen to everyone
Literally, please.
wherever you get your podcast.
That would
And
be
big ones: Apple.
or Spotify.
That's right, and a whole slew of others. And if you are listening there, please do not forget to rate
Review,
and subscribe.
because that's the only way we can get ahead in life.
That's right, and we read them all. So
Please.
please give me something else to read.
Where's
like
like your
trick or treat.
reviews? I
Give
can
me
only
something good
make
to
up
eat.
so many fake emails.
Wait, are any
Just
of
kidding. No, they're not me.
Oh.
Can you imagine? You get like all these. They were all me.
Oh, I love it.
just kidding, no.
I should do that. One of them is me. Oh well. I was like, they feel like my friends. It's because
Oh man,
you are my friend and
We
I
are,
am my
we are.
friend.
I am my own friend. Yeah, and then just
You can follow us.
You can follow us on Instagram at Boobays Podcast.
That's right.
And that's all.
One word. And that's BOOBAES, Boobays.
Yes.
Because we are your bays.
not your boo babes, and because
That's
it also
right.
sounds like boobies, boo babes.
Boobies. We love boobies. On that note, though,
Bye, base.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.